All right.
I've got everything.
All right. Who wants to catch us up?
I guess I can. There's not too much to go over, but last time our intrepid party left Neverwinter to make breakneck pace for Cragmaw Castle, camping a few times along the way and meeting a few friendly friends and a few unfriendly rock monsters. After a decisive coin flip of fate, our party headed east along the Western Tribal Trail to go up the Sword Mountain Stream Trail to go and approach Cragmaw Castle from the known path, overtaking the unknown one. There, on watch, they found a ferocious goblin scout who was surprisingly agile. However, with some controlled, chaotic party management, our crew was able to dispatch the goblin before it escaped down some kind of giant, badger hole of some kind. Some network in the mountains.
Yes.
And with that, our intrepid party now waits at camp late at night after having slain the goblin scout.
Actually, it's the morning after. We
didn't finish the long rest though, did we?
We did.
You did.
We did.
I didn't think we were doing that until we started the next session.
That was the last thing we did. That was the last thing we did. Is we finished the long rest. You can see the clock is at 0800.
All right.
The goblin attack delayed us by 90 minutes.
I guess I'll go ahead and add that then. I didn't do that because I was under the assumption that we were going to be, deciding that on this session start.
No, we already did.
It's 0800.
All right. Well, that's your recap.
Excellent. Yeah, that catches us up. So you have found a goblin in these here hills. These here hills. What would appear to be a scout. And, well, you still have a decent trek, probably about 2 days' journey, up to Cragmaw Castle. You follow the stream.
Well,
we should probably break camp and make our way up there as soon as we can.
Or actually, maybe you could probably get there by the end of the day. Think of it as
long as we don't come across anything else, that is.
Yeah. All right. So do you pick up camp?
I'm in favor of doing so.
Yeah.
As per usual, takes about a half hour to pack up, and then here.
Before we leave, do the rest of you want me to disguise as the goblin we murdered to scout ahead, or do we think it's worth it?
You don't have to do that right now. They're likely they're gonna know he's missing at some point. But if you disguise as him now, that might be a bit too soon on that. Because you'd only last an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Disguise self. I don't remember. Let me look.
I remember it only lasting about an hour.
If I use the second level one, I think it lasts longer. But still, yeah, it probably wouldn't last long enough.
Worst case scenario, if we really need you to do it, we can distract while you sneak away from the group, and then you can just come out of the bushes as the disguised goblin, and then, help convince whoever is questioning us. Simple as that.
Very good. Carry on.
All right. So it is 2:30 p.m., and you are a good ways upstream. Looking at your map, you see that the stream ends up at the peak of the Sword Mountains, whereas the location of Cragmaw Castle, as marked on your map, is somewhere further along the range. So you have the choice of breaking off earlier and just kind of making a direct route there.
How flat does that route look? Or is it going to be a lot more messy?
So if you were to wait until you got to the end of the stream, you'd be traveling basically along the knife's edge, along the peaks. So it would kind of not make much sense to get up that high.
Yeah.
So I would probably wait until you hit rocky terrain, right here, and then cut across.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah,
I
that'll
would
work.
say so. Perhaps we could find a mountain trail of some kind.
Maybe we'll find some rocks up here.
Oh, there's rocks. It's rocky.
Yeah.
You're above the ridgeline now, and it is rocky.
Lars, for
I guess-
an unexplainable reason to everybody else, seems to be avoiding the larger rocks along the path.
Yeah.
I'll be keeping an eye out for any of those like sigil things we were looking for earlier, just in case there's like a path that we spot along the way.
Yes, Raglan did mention that there were sigils along this path that would take you to Cragmaw Castle, an actual footpath of some kind.
Okay.
Along the stream. So if we can find one of those, that would definitely make our travel easier.
Good eye.
Gothis, you still have that sketchbook that he put all the sigils in, right?
You trusted me with a book?
I mean, it was your book.
No
I haven't the
response.
slightest clue what you're talking about.
Well, I mean, you handed it to him to write the stuff in.
Okay, well, if I have a book, I don't like that. You can have it.
Taker.
Very well, very well. As long as you still have it, I will take it off your hands.
Very good, very good. Well, I'll just say you cut across here. And make it most of the way. At this point, the terrain is getting rather rocky. And it is around 8:30, but in the distance, you see it. It's just a speck. But you see the ruins, the castle, standing on a rocky outcropping, silhouetted against the setting sun. You know, deep in your hearts, this is it. This is what you've been searching for all this time. This is Cragmaw Castle.
There it is.
Yes, Castle Dulac.
Looks to
thought it
be-
was Cragmaw Castle.
About
it's-
another...
It looks like such a perfect town. How could it not be Castle Dulac?
Fair enough, I guess.
Welcome to Dulac. Sorry.
Yes! Thank you.
Yeah, I knew it needed to be done. It looks to be about another 2.5 hour journey. So you would arrive right at the stroke of midnight. Or you can make camp here and set out first thing in the morning.
Okay, so goblins have
if we
partial
go
night
under the
vision.
cover of night, well, most goblins do tend to have dark vision, so that wouldn't exactly help us much.
Yeah, a night ambush would go about as well for us as trying to fight, water people in the sea.
You mean sea elves?
Good metaphor.
It doesn't necessarily
Albertine.
have to be. Huh?
Albertine is impressed with your metaphor. It gives you like a golf clap.
Yeah.
Not too loud. They'll hear us.
Yeah,
It's very-
to say it'll go poorly is
More
an
like the clinking
understatement.
of his claws on his scales.
Well, time is of the essence. It might behoove us to, now that we're here, get there, especially since we are, rested well enough, but it was a rather long journey. It may not hurt to at least have a short rest before we head in early in the morning.
Yeah, taking a little break right now just to make sure we're all in good condition before we press on.
That would probably be good, and as a matter of fact, as we make camp here, we can observe the stronghold and see if there's any ways that we could possibly approach it in a safe manner as well.
Yeah, because, actually a good portion of our party also has at least partial night vision. Not everyone does.
Well, we can only see up to about 60 feet, say, So we would have to wait for more daylight to observe it properly.
Well, yeah, but what I mean is I'm pretty sure our night vision's on par with the goblins, is what I mean by that.
It's on par with them. However, if, let's say we get into, a spat with a handful of goblins, they all will be able to see us, and only 2 of us will be able to see them back.
That's my point.
Which is why I'm saying it might be despite time being of the essence, might be a better idea to wait a bit. Just so that way we all have better footing to fight against them.
Well, yeah, but we would have to wait the long rest anyway, because we'd have to wait for dawn.
That's my point.
So we're in agreement?
Yes.
Yeah, long
okay,
rest.
let's do the long rest. I'll take first watch.
Right on. Go ahead and roll perception.
Okie dokie.
Okie dokie.
Do we want multiple people on watch due to the fact that it will be nearby the castle, so maybe a 2-person watch? Well, I don't know. There are 3 shifts. That won't work.
Yeah.
I was going to say, we don't need to do a 2-person watch. It'll be fine.
I rolled a 7 in total.
7, you say. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that's not a great
Spooky
start.
night. It's been a rough day of trudging through the high slopes of this mountain, and you are exhausted. It's dark. It's really cold up this high, and you're just kind of huddled in your blanket, listening to the wind whistle past your ears. But nothing notable happens.
Are we sure it's not whistling through my ears? Because I don't think Gargi has any brain matter in between those.
It might be. If there were anyone... You know that saying, like, if a tree falls in the forest and no one's around to hear it, does it make a sound? Well, if the wind whistles through his ears and nobody's around to hear it, does it whistle through his ears?
That thought is too much for Gargi. He's just gonna stare at a rock for a little bit to take his mind off that thought.
Okay. Make a perception check again.
Okay. That is a 4 in total.
A 4? You
Yep.
blink and the rock moved? Where'd it go? You turn your head a little bit and it was over there. You're probably just tired.
No,
Your head just probably moved while your eyes were closed or something.
I'm probably fine. I'm not gonna pass out. I would never do that.
Yeah, never. Remarkably, you don't.
Oh.
And your watch is over. And
Good job,
wake up
me.
somebody else.
Someone with night vision.
Fine. Until it's your turn.
Okay. Right. So you're gonna plant yourself face down or what?
What?
It's normally how you go to bed, is you just immediately plant face down somewhere.
Well, I'm not a barbarian. I'm at least gonna pile up some rocks and make a pillow.
He's not a barbarian, he's a fighter.
Yeah, okay? Come on.
Righto.
Rightio.
He just puts some pebbles down in a little pile, picks up like a nice...
Did he shrink? Or am I crazy?
Yeah, his thing has always been relatively small for some reason. But yeah, we're gonna pick up like a nice medium-sized rock, lay down on our pile of pebbles, and then just drop the rock on my head, hopefully knocking me out for the night.
Yeah, there's a thump, and then in a couple of seconds you're snoring.
Fantastic.
To be fair, we shrunk down the models to be a bit smaller than the squares, just so they wouldn't hit each other.
Right.
Fair. And this is fine, right?
Probably. Makes moving the models more fun.
Yes, I'm gonna trip over my own face more.
Perfect.
I gotta roll to see if my shoes are untied now.
Alright, Toa, roll for perception.
Okay. Let me double check my perception. I believe it's passive 13 and a +2. Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah, +3 if your passive
+3.
is,
Yeah.
is
Yep.
13.
Okay.
Roll it, roll it. Oh,
Well, that was about to be good.
+2, right?
+3.
+3, right?
+3.
That's an 8. So very similar night. It's cold. With your night vision, you can see in grayscale, kind of the same tones as like a black and white TV that's got a bunch of static. You can see animals moving around. You can see just kind of the silver tones of the moonlight, just kind of falling like liquid metal down the mountain, and slowly changing direction. The shadows creeping from one corner to the next during your 3-hour watch. You're half elf, right?
Yes.
Yes, for a half elf like you, you can see it almost in real time because of your long life. Time seems to go quickly. You enter a trance, and it's like a time lapse. You watch as time passes, and before you know it, it is time for you to wake somebody else up. And almost on the dot, Albertine kind of rises from their sleeping position. They were curled up kind of like a cat, and they arise, they wake, and they nod at you as if to say, "I'll take this last watch."
Very good. Proceed.
All right. Old Al. What is that?
9. Is this the first time we've had Albertine watch the entire time?
It is.
Yes.
Nobody's asking. I guess you were all being very polite.
Well,
want to make
also
sure that
we
he's extra rested because he does tend to be the person that takes a lot of hits.
there's that, and the fact that me and Lars have night vision, and so we've been trying to use that.
Yeah. Nobody sees or hears anything the rest of the night. And at 6 a.m., I want you all to make perception checks.
Oh boy.
Ten.
It's like I think I have a +2
Garthus?
to perception.
I got
Garthus
a
did the best
16
roll.
altogether.
16. All right, you're the only one who sees it. While the rest
Ooh.
of the party is just kind of waking up, pouring coffee, stoking the fire, normal morning things while traveling, adventuring, you see a small dot moving on the horizon. Squinting your eyes, your keen eyesight can make out a familiar silhouette trudging up the mountain on a direct course towards Cragmaw Castle.
How familiar are we talking?
So familiar, I'm gonna DM you about it.
Okay. I mean, it's not like it's not like I'm not gonna share this information with the party immediately.
Yeah.
Is it Sildar?
It's me.
Dun dun dun!
I was in Cragmaw Castle the whole time.
But you're standing right here.
Wait, you're right. I guess I wasn't.
Your twin brother or something.
Hard to make them out completely, but that's what you can recall.
Okay.
Places them at those two locations. And the fact that they're wearing a
Gotcha.
set of armor, that narrows the list down a little bit. They could only be maybe 2 people.
Hey guys, does that armor look familiar? I'm just gonna be like pointing to the tiny dot that they definitely can't see.
Okay, Toa, you've got elf eyes. You can make that out. You can make out who that is.
Alright.
Sildar.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
What's he doing? Why is he here? What's going on?
Okay. So, my character probably, Toa immediately thinks, with his criminal background, he might be going, okay, Red Brand thing, Sildar potentially familiar with them. He knew about stuff in the village we were in. What was it? Thunder Tree? Right? He knew the guy that was there. His paranoia about being potentially betrayed starting to pop up, and he's getting an idea maybe Sildar may not be a blue unit, if you will.
But
Very interesting.
how could that be? Like,
He's
yeah,
debating this with himself before he says anything
Oh.
about that. Like, do we want to suspect Sildar of not being friendly? Maybe our dwarven friend has been double-crossed, and literally everyone and their dog wants whatever secret he knows. And so maybe Sildar cut a deal with the guy at Thunder Tree or the goblins or some bigger conspiracy. Either way, Toa is like, okay, until proven otherwise, be very careful around Sildar. The fact he's here and didn't tell us about it is very suspicious to him. But he does point out that it is Sildar who Garthus can see.
What are the rest of you going to do about that?
Well, I can't imagine him siding with these people. The goblins in particular, and the red brands. The only thing that I could think of is he really... When we found him, he was already captured by the goblins in Cragmaw Cave. And he was very adamant on us wanting to kill them, which perhaps could be used to cover his tracks.
I was going to say, what if that whole thing was a neat little act, and that's why he didn't want us to talk it out with the goblin at the very risk that the goblin gives up his game? Which, to be fair, we didn't kill the goblin then, and the goblin didn't give it away, if that is the case.
Well, we made a deal with with Yemik in particular, that should he assist us in our endeavors here, he may have the castle for himself. So whether he holds up to that end of the bargain or not, we'll have to find out.
I think both sides fully expect the other to betray the other in that respect, but we'll see.
There's not much we can really do about it now. We can try to approach him, but he's already well within view of the castle. I don't think we'll get to him before he gets in there.
Well, as he approaches, do you want to keep an eye on him, Toa?
Yeah. If I may make a suggestion, we could take advantage of the chaos he causes when he eventually kicks in that front door.
Assuming that's what's happening.
I mean, why else
we
is
need
he
to
here?
keep an eye on him. And we also still need to survey the castle to see how we ourselves are going to approach it. We can't exactly just approach the front door and ask nicely to be let in.
Through the window.
Yeah, so I would prefer to observe Sildar from a distance that he can't see me at.
Sildar casts a glance in your direction. Do you try and duck out of the way to avoid being seen?
I do.
Does everybody?
I can't see him that well.
Okay. Toa, do
do
you
not.
let people know that he's looking in your direction?
Yes. I say, hey, he's looking at us.
I stand perfectly still.
Okay. If you are attempting to evade detection, I would like you all to make stealth rolls.
Okay, so my stealth is +2. I will make a roll. There. Got it.
Oh, nice.
Whoa. Alright,
Let's
everybody
see
gets
what-
36 XP.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, I was given back that 20 I was about to roll in perception.
Yeah.
36. Boop, boop.
Okay.
Alright. Well, Toa, you know how to blend in with very many environments. Your elf heritage. So Garthus, Lars, what'd you roll for stealth?
I got a 12 plus 1, so 13.
13. And Lars?
Let me roll mine real quick, because I definitely didn't just forget to do that. I got a 19.
Ooh. Everybody gain 90 XP. Albertine
19
rolled a
+2.
nat 1.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
He's not very stealthy.
No, Albertine.
How much XP did you say?
Say what?
How much XP did you say?
90.
90.
90.
9-0. So Albertine actually stands straight up, and his armor clanks. So Sildar turns to face you guys and starts waving and heading directly in your direction.
All right.
He's there in
no point
about
hiding now.
like 15 minutes.
He's
Albertine
zooming.
grimaces a little bit, and then starts waving back. Before long, Sildar is upon you. He extends a hand enthusiastically. He's out of breath. I didn't expect to see you all here. I had a conversation with Rydoth. That letter you saw me leaving Phandelver with, well, I didn't want to worry you, but I got word that the goblins up in Cragmaw Cave, they received communication that those at the castle were attempting to execute Toblin. I couldn't let it happen, and I didn't want to drag you into this. So I set out on my own, but it seems that our fates have collided.
It seems so, Sildar.
Okay.
Seems so.
I
Real
am
quick.
taking a mental note that I'm pretty sure he didn't know where this castle was when we last asked him.
No, he
Very
didn't.
curious.
But the guy he was talking to did. Who he was there when we handed the map over.
Okay.
So I'm not too suspicious of that. Maybe
My
Lars
thought
is too
process
trusting.
here is wouldn't Sildar have known, because we told him back at the mayor's office that we were employed by the dwarf,
Very suspicious.
Mr. Rockbreaker? What
Sildar.
was his name again?
Gundren
Sildar,
Rockseeker.
Rockseeker?
You said that they were going to execute Toblin.
That's not the name of our man.
That's right,
Yes.
Toblin Stonekin.
No, that's the Toblin. Toblin. I've heard that name before. I mean, definitely not me stalling for time as I pull up my notes. If I recall correctly, Toblin was the name of that barbarian that we met. Yes, it was. Toblin. Yes. Yes.
Wait. So
was the name of the barbarian that we
Toblin
met
going
on
the
road.
other way from Neverwinter got abducted and got here before us?
How
We
did you say-
met him over here going towards Neverwinter, and he's somehow in Cragmore before we are?
Yeah.
Is that I'm gonna ask out of character, DM. Is that
That
just
was-
misspeaking the
Yeah,
name?
that was
or...
me. That was me speaking the name wrong. I was like, "Can I spin this
Gotcha.
into be like some mysterious plot development?" And then I was like, "No, I can't do it." I tried.
I was like Toblin. He's the.
I remember it.
barbarian.
I was like, "Oh, he was that guy."
I just wanted to make sure. So that way we can.
It's a
still stay on
dwarfish
track.
sounding name, and I just mixed it up. Anyway, yeah.
Gundren.
He
Okay.
just
Rewind
like
time.
rewind. No, he says they're going to execute Gundren.
There we go.
He wanted to get
Yes.
there
Well,
in time to stop it.
that's why we're here ourselves, Sir Sildar. We are
Just
here
Sildar.
to-
I'm not a knight.
Yes, my apologies. Just kind formalities. We are here as well to attempt to jailbreak Gundren Rockseeker, as he is our employer, and, well, we may have completed his job, but he needs to at least be able to see that we have done so.
Well, we haven't completed his job. We haven't even begun his job. We have to
We did.
rescue him so we can start the job.
No, our mission was to transport his goods to Phandelver, which...
No, our that was just the first part of it. Our job was to go to the mines that he had a map for and go get the goodies out of it.
Well, above and beyond the call of duty, I'll say.
Yes,
My highest commendations. You had no personal stake in this matter. You did not know Gundren, and yet you've gone all this way. And through all this effort to assist him. If we can successfully rescue him from this castle, You shall have an ally for life.
Yes, I would hope so.
Dwarves
I've
do not...
found that out in this world, it's hard to find people you can trust.
Oh, yes. Yes. And from what little I know of dwarves, they do not easily forget grudges. Nor do they forget kindnesses done to them.
No, they do not.
Hey,
Hey, Sildar. What did you see of the castle while you were down there?
Well, about as much as I can see here. It appears to be fortified at multiple points. Several different entrances, yes. Walls are collapsing there to the east, and there to the north. And there appears to be a main gate, which looks like it's guarded.
Well, going up the main gate just won't do. I don't think we can exactly go full gate crashers here.
Yes, no, this is a fortress, though it is decaying. Would not do to storm it. We must employ stealth and cleverness.
Yes.
I'm in agreement with that.
I am good at both of those.
Say, Toa, Lars says as he turns to Toa, you can disguise yourself as goblins, correct?
I'm under the impression that may not necessarily be as helpful as you're hoping.
No, I'm suggesting that perhaps you could disguise yourself as the goblin scout that we had encountered earlier to get a closer look at the castle without drawing too much ire from those who may be looking back. That might be a safer way to observe, good entries.
Potentially.
Well, let me ask you this. Would they find it more suspicious that one of their goblin scouts is looking around the castle they're supposed to be guarding, or some random people walking across the mountain?
My only thought process, the last time I tried this shenanigans, it went poorly.
But we got what we needed.
Okay, so it'll be... if you want to send Toa to scout, it'll be about 4.5 hours there and back.
I mean, we could all move closer
if he's traveling
as
light,
a unit.
Yeah.
And then he can split off from us once we get closer. That way he's not
Well,
going...
that's,
How much closer
that's
do you
what I
want
was
to get?
suggesting, is we move closer.
You're 3 hours away on foot.
Let's get within, like, an hour at most of the castle.
I'd say... right there. Move... 0.3, that's a third, so that's 2 hours. So pick up, move, set up camp. By the time you are all packed up and moved to within an hour's journey of the castle, it's 9 a.m. Sun is fully risen, and it is a glorious day. Clear clouds. Looks like the sort of day that legends are. You can see the entire coast from your perch high in the sky here.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of, like, weapons does Sildar have on him? Just at a glance.
Let me check. He should have at least a sword, but he is listed as possessing a longsword and a heavy crossbow, as well as just those two things.
Okay.
Yeah, as a reminder, my disguise self at most only lasts an hour. I don't have an option to cast it in the second level slot.
I was about to offer to buff one of his weapons.
Okay, you could buff his longsword.
Yeah, I think I'll do that. It's going to take about an hour to do it, though, so I guess we can do that while we wait for Toa to get back.
Sounds good. So
I
Toa,
will bond with his sword.
you approach the castle. In this time?
How far away are we now?
You're an hour's travel, approximately. So it would take an hour to get there one way.
Okay.
That's if you even want to go through with this plan in particular. I'm not going to force you to do it, though I'm just simply suggesting it as I feel like that would give us the best chance of scouting the area without being detected.
I agree. I was just debating if it's worth one round of my ammunition, basically. before combat even begins. It probably is.
Well, you could think of it this way. You could try to approach halfway, and then disguise self once you're halfway there, and then that
I would have to, because I wouldn't have any time. I wouldn't have any time disguised. I only have an hour disguised. So I would probably I'd probably try to close as close as I can, feel as close as I feel comfortable, and then disguising.
What mechanical benefits does bonding with Sildar's weapon give it?
I can call it and it'll return to my hand.
Okay. Sildar asks the same question.
Oh, it'll give it some magical properties.
Magic, you say?
Yeah.
What sort of magic? I never studied it myself. Heard the blade, tried and true methods of martial combat.
Well, this makes sure that the blade stays in the hand.
That right?
Yep.
Very handy.
I'm still pretty new to it, but I hope it works.
And does it recall it to your hand, or does it recall it to Sildar's?
It would recall it to my hand. This is my insurance in case he betrays us.
Smart.
Yeah, very smart.
So if you want, you can have me do deception. I'm gonna be bad at it, but I can do it if you want me to roll for that.
Yeah, roll for deception.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Lucky
I'm gonna make
7.
him take a wisdom roll.
Wisdom. Okay. So let me check some things real quick. That's a +0 on deception, and then you want me to do a wisdom roll?
No, he did a wisdom roll to see if you could figure out what you're... Alright, Lars, you see this all going down. You see Sildar's face growing more and more skeptical. He's kind of narrowing his eyes at Garthus and, like, pulling his sword away a little bit. Do you want to jump in and help here?
Sure, I could jump in and help a bit.
Alright, roll deception.
The question would be would Lars know what Garthus is trying to do?
Roll insight, and I'll say if you beat a 10, you can figure it out.
Okay.
Because you were all there.
I rolled an 18.
18, yeah. You know what he's trying to do. So roll deception to see if you can.
Okay. Lars will step forward and begin to explain magical nonsense.
Oh no!
So deception roll, you said?
That's right, deception.
8. Do I have
to
any
beat an
bonus?
11?
I have a +3 to that.
Meets it.
So you roll 11.
Yeah. Oh, so you, like, at the very last minute, you kind of shoulder your way in and explain, oh no, this is good. This gives it, like, magical damage. If they have any sort of wards against magical damage.
Yes. It's a ward breaker of sorts, if you will, if you're familiar with wards. This will basically allow your sword to strike true as much as it needs to.
I've heard about this. Shouldn't there be runes or something along the hilt? Some sort of inscription? I don't know. A ritual? Looks like he's just...
Sorry, I'm new to this.
Lars takes another step forward and goes, yes, usually you are correct when it comes to runes. However, runes are engraved into the weapon and give it that property permanently, so long as the rune is not destroyed. This is more of an enchantment, rather. It's not as permanent as a rune, so your sword will eventually return back to a more normal state later. But it should last us for the days ahead.
Interesting. He gives his sword a couple of swings. Doesn't feel any different. This magic is strange business.
It won't feel any different. It's not like magic weapon or anything like that, per se, where it makes your weapon lighter or anything of that sort.
He strokes his chin while examining you. Seem like one who's well versed in the ways of magic. I'll take your word for it. Hopefully it holds up in combat. He sheaths his sword. And with that, we are going to take a brief little siesta, and then when we return, we're going to go over what is happening with Noah.
Okay.
Yippee.
Wonderful. Okay, so it is time to find out what is going on with Toa. So Toa, you have an hour of disguise self to use. It takes an hour to get there and an hour to get back. Where are you casting that? Are you casting it?
I would prefer to cast it when I'm about, what do we think, 10, 15 minutes out? Like,
Sounds reasonable.
yeah. That way I get 45 minutes to observe and leave before the jig
Alternate
is out.
timer here. So 10 or 15 minutes out. So you cast it, let's say 9:45.
Yeah.
En route. You're disguised. All right. You've got an hour. What are you doing?
All right. So, is Cragmaw like in the low or high part of this hill?
It's kind of situated on a ridge. This is Cragmaw Castle. This is kind of the outside of it. Any of the divots here are arrow slits. But like here, this is kind of what they look like. But you can only see the outside, so.
Yeah. Because basically what I want is to try and look through it from a high ground that's concealed.
Okay.
But I don't know if there is a position like that outside the castle.
So you can climb up top of the ridge. Let's see. Same orientation. I'll assume it is. I'll assume this is the same orientation as it is right here. So
yeah, I
if you
mean,
were to get
this
up on the
this is
peak-
showing a north.
If you were to get up on the peak, it'd be on this corner. Over here.
Okay, the
You would
northeasterly.
see everything from this side. The entrance appears to be west.
Yeah, my thought
Entrance
process
is
is because this is a
Right.
fortified structure, it's expecting any intruder to enter from the west.
That is the
Because that is the
direction
gate.
that faces Phandelver. So
So ideally, I would want an entrance either from the south or northeastern corner.
that seems like it would be an intelligent.
It is, from what was stated earlier, it is in a bit of decay, so you may be able to find a couple holes that we could squeeze through, too.
Yeah, so there are walls that have broken down here. From this side, that's about all you can see. There's also appears to be an entrance just kind of recessed in there.
I'm also
Um,
taking
right,
care,
so
even though
it's-
I am disguised, I don't want to blatantly be seen. I don't want anyone asking any unnecessary questions.
The walls here and here are decaying. The stones are crumbling down, but they haven't broken all the way through yet. Whereas here, the walls have just broken all the way down. See right in.
Are there any immediate signs of goblin sentries who are visible, or any sentries who are
Find out.
visible?
Yes, you can see what looks like 3 goblins in the area, but they appear to be bedded down now that the sun has.
Okay, so again, trying to avoid being seen directly, because again, I don't want any unnecessary questions asked of me. Because while I am who this guy looks like, I won't know any potential answers to any questions that they'll have.
Okay. So I'm gonna have you make a performance roll to have it appear that you're just scouting in the area.
Okay, let me check performance. Okay, I have a +3 to that.
Not bad.
Let's throw some dice.
Oh yeah.
12, so 15.
Okay, not bad. You manage to survey the castle out of the corner of your eye so that it looks like you're peering out across the ridge of the mountain. You catch a few goblins glancing at you, but they don't appear to react in any. Seems like they expect to see.
Excellent.
I need to briefly sprint downstairs, so.
Okay.
Okay. So, is it potentially possible? One thing I've been thinking about this is an out of character question.
Mhm.
Are we able to manipulate terrain to the point where we could potentially shear one of the walls by using create water and then flash freezing it to split the stone?
Mm,
Is that a thing?
As long as you have enough time, yeah, you could do that.
Okay.
The question is, like, given that this is an actively hostile area, are you willing to risk engaging in something that might take 3 or 4 hours to complete? Like, you could do it. You could wear it down. You may be found and attacked before you can successfully finish, though.
Yeah, and the walls may not be thin enough that I can use, say, 10 gallons of water. Like, make a small gap, put water into it, use the flash freeze from Lars's ice thing to split the entire wall, split a section of the wall.
If we had a spell that could throw that much water out really quickly, we could get it done fast, but we don't have that kind of capability right now.
So what you're saying is we don't have enough water.
Not to do it in a timely manner, at least.
Yeah. You'd need something like create monsoon or some such spell to create all of the water that you need. If you froze all of that water, that would probably do some real damage. And do it quickly, but that's really powerful magic, at least 5th level.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking is Cragmaw Castle's state of decay weak enough to the point where I could create an artificial entrance?
There's a few artificial entrances already. You spy at least one from your perch on this side of the peak, and you see stones missing from this side and this side as well, although you can't tell if they lead to the side of the castle or if they're just walls falling down.
I'm also trying to make notes of potential routes I could get the party as close as possible without being seen, so patterns of the centuries. If it comes down to throwing hands, I want us to be as close to the castle as possible, potentially to get under potential arrow splits.
Fair.
Here, I'm gonna grab this goblin real quick, and we're gonna use this just to tell where Toa is on the map. Just what direction he's looking.
That's fair.
So I'm like up
resurrected.
here.
No, you're down here right now.
Yeah, so
Unless
the castle is in
there.
the same orientation as the map.
Yeah.
So you're probably over here on the peak. Oh, here.
Okay, so I'm on the southeastern side. Gotcha.
Right there-ish.
Okay.
There we go.
So far, like, this potential gap is kind of like what I'm eyeballing, because I know there's the entrance on the south side, right? So there's clearly a room that's somewhere back here. So if I can get a back way into that room, that is kind of what I believe to be the most promising entry of what I can see.
Okay. Yeah, looks good.
How many potential arrow slits do I see, like, in this arc of the castle?
You see 1, 2, 3, 4, and then what looks to be 5 on the other side. So it seems that they're spaced pretty regularly, although it's hard to tell from the exterior how many of them are manned. Any?
Well, yeah. I wouldn't know unless I walked up and asked them.
Yeah. I mean, you could. Hard to
I
say
could,
how well that
but
would work, but especially since you are assumedly already in the know.
yeah. So let's see. How much time do I have left?
Let's say once you were on that peak, you started looking, it took you about 30 minutes.
I'm considering making my exit. As I make my exit towards back to where the party is, I want to make notes of my path that I took, so I can lead the party through a relatively clean entry.
Okay.
So
now,
before I leave, are these
to the castle?
Are these? Hold on. Are these like open?
Where?
Or are these are these actual gaps in the wall, or are they just rubble?
How close did you get?
Let's say 120 feet of the castle.
120 feet? Okay. Yeah. No, these
Trying
are
to take note that not within weapon range of most weapons.
This is not. These are not gaps. This is just places where the wall is falling apart. The castle seems to stand intact behind where it's collapsed here and here. However, this is open. This leads directly to the castle's interior.
Okay. So that would be the note. We'd want to make entry
There
from
also
the
appears to
southeast.
be a stairway and like a side entrance here, up a set of stairs.
Yeah. So the best I've found, the south side is definitely the way we want to make entry, and we would make entry from the southeast, and then march along to get to the entry on the south side.
Okay.
Yeah, that could be the case, but you also haven't looked around the other half of the castle.
I'm also out of time. I don't want my disguise to fail while I'm within line of sight,
Okay.
because that would give up the fact that I'm here, and potentially ruin any information on guard pattern because it would change.
Smart. All right.
So just make note of my route back to the spot so that I can guide the party to relative safety.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is a first level spell slot consumed.
And
Don't
so you make your
assume-
way back?
Yeah, I'm being careful to ensure that I escape before my disguise runs out.
Excellent. So everybody back at camp has an hour and 15 minutes to kill before Toa rejoins. Is there anything else that you'd like to do before they get back?
No. Lars is simply just... you know what? Lars is sparring with Sildar, trying to learn how to use his sword better.
All right.
Flavor text. I don't know if that'll actually do anything for me, because it's not that long, but, you know, just something fun.
As you spar, Sildar remarks about how it's difficult to block your sword because it's so light and maneuverable. Like a sewing needle, I swear. Can't. He tries to, like, swing it out of the way. Lucky for me that you're so bad with that thing. Otherwise, I'd have an opening for you to puncture me. Run me right through.
Gee, thanks, Sildar.
I don't mean to insult you.
I'm not great with this.
It's to my benefit.
Lars says as he takes one quick swing, feints, and tries to do a sneaky underhand thrust.
Make an attack roll.
Ooh,
oh boy.
Okay. Mind you, I'm not going for kills here. We're just doing context.
Sure, yeah.
Basically.
Gotcha.
15.
He stumbles backwards and barely lifts his arm in time to deflect the blow. My word. Must not let my guard down around you. He shakes his finger at you.
It's a trick I saw Gahi do with a spear. Since I kind of hold this outward in a similar fashion, I thought I might be able to try it.
Is that right? He casts like a sidelong glance at Garthus. Strange one. What do you make of him? How long have you known him?
If I'm going to be honest, I haven't known him before I took this job for Gundren, but he's been a very, very valuable ally, and one that I feel like I can rely upon.
Yes. Gives off a strange energy. Handy with the sword, I imagine, from the looks of him, but something about him doesn't seem quite right.
Yes, he's definitely a bit odd. He can't read, yet he has a knack for figuring out what stuff says regardless.
Yes. I've met all sorts of strange folk in my travels, he says, like sheathing his sword as you're done sparring. I've never once fought like him. Something in the eyes. He just kind of stands there and ponders for a moment.
I figured it was kind of, I don't know. He talks about he's from a fishing village. I thought it was just, you know how they say you have sea legs? I thought he had maybe sea eyes in a sense, and that they just kind of wander a bit.
He stays silent for a moment as he just kind of eyes you. The eyes.
As it turns out, most of them do.
Oh, Garthus! Welcome. We were just finishing up sparring.
How'd it go? Did I win?
I definitely need more work, but I did a trick I saw you did, and it seemed to work out for me pretty well.
Nice.
Yes, nearly cost me my kidneys.
Don't worry, I wasn't trying to actually impale you.
I'm only joking. He
Well, thank
slaps you on the
goodness you're
back.
fully grown. You have adult knees now.
Yes. Ha! Yes, I see. Ha! That's quite clever.
Alright.
Alright, and at this point...
Is this when Toa returns?
Yes, this is when Toa returns.
Ah. Oh, look. Here comes Toa now. Perfect timing, I would say.
So I wave my quarterstaff at them, using it to clear brush. It's like, yep, made it to the castle.
So, what did you see, my good sir?
We definitely want to enter from the southeast corner. That is where our most likely entry point is. The north side likely has holes in the wall, but it's not an easier approach. There's some form
of... You're not able to get a good look at that side.
I did not, but I didn't want to. I didn't have enough time to look at the north side.
Unfortunate. However, you finding not only a path but an avenue of approach is definitely more than helpful. Good one.
The issue is, to get to the opening that I saw, we will have to pass through arrow slits. If they're manned, we'll have to go quickly.
Well,
this is good information. Excellent work.
Yes. Well, we'll make do with what we have to. Let's hope that we can sneak up and not have them notice by the time we get there.
Indeed. Well, let's be on our way, shall we?
Yep.
I guess so.
Make our attack at noon. From licks his finger, puts it to the wind. In the south. They won't expect an attack from high ground. If we can summit the mountain, crawl to the other side, and then descend upon them, shan't see us coming, especially with the sun in their eyes.
Yes, that would actually be perfect. I feel like that would work splendidly. And it would definitely aid us in sneaking up towards the wall. The question is, how would we get inside the castle once we're there? You said there was a hole, right, Toa?
There's a hole in the wall and a staircase, but I wasn't able to check if there's a door. I'm assuming there's a door on the staircase, but there is a hole that is exposed. It would lead to close quarters combat with at least 3 goblins to get entry, though.
Well, that would probably work for us. Worst comes to worst, we could... How high would you say the walls were, Toa?
Climbing it, I would say, is not advisable.
Toa, I've got it. I have an idea. Albertine interrupts him. I think I know what he's going to say. Toa, you have an ability to disguise yourself. That would disorient them and allow for a sneak attack. You could take them out quietly, and we could stand as backup.
We could try.
Toa points and it's like that's it exactly, my man.
Okay.
That could definitely be a good avenue of approach.
With a try, at least.
Worst comes to worst, we can always just run in there and keep everybody safe as needed.
At the very least, it should allow you to get about 30 feet closer before you have to start worrying about arrows.
Yes, I think that would be a good course of action.
However, doing so would reduce my potential healing capacity. That would be the only potential downside. Is that I would lose more endurance in combat.
Yes, you're right.
So, I mean, hear me out. This is a third option. I heard of this one in a storybook. I can't quite remember the name of it, but perhaps we could distract the enemy, in a sense. Perhaps pretend to bring a prisoner up to them.
I would prefer to avoid doing that.
No, let's hear him out.
Gahi, you have a special way to conceal your spears, do you not?
Yeah, at least one of them.
Yes. If need be, we could have somebody play the role of somebody who had a red brand, if you will, and say, hey, we caught this guy sneaking around the area.
It doesn't even have to be a red brand.
Could just be a goblin.
It could be a goblin. You could use your disguise self using that method. That would
Hmm.
allow 2 people to go into the castle at the same time. And they're still waiting for the scout to come back. If you disguise yourself as the scout and take Gahi in with his weapons disguised, he'll appear unarmed. You could even use a slip knot on the rope, so he can simply just give it a tug, and he'll free himself from his bindings. They wouldn't be able to tell unless they were up close, and by then it would be too late.
Albertine strokes his scaly chin. Did that scout seem the type to take prisoners to you?
Perhaps
No.
not. Maybe they were. Perhaps you could try to convince them as I found this person sneaking around on their own. Perhaps they're part of a larger party and we can try to get information out of them.
Albertine turns toward the chest. Goblin would not bring back a prisoner, but a chest full of gold.
That I like better.
That could work.
He kicks
That
the
would
box.
definitely-
Benadryl, are you still alive? And there's like a sound like the clattering of hammers and just like a moaning. I think he's up for it.
Sounds like a yes to me.
That is definitely a very good option. And we could even rig it so when the chest opens, it could release like maybe a smoke bomb of something using prestidigitation or something along those lines, which would at least throw them off guard for a bit while we rush the entrance to get inside.
Good idea. Benadryl, and he like kicks it again. Are you capable of pulling a pin out of a smoke bomb? And there's just like a moaning sound. And then he turns around to the rest of the party. He's just like, wait, whose job was it to feed Benadryl the last couple days?
I thought it was Garthus was feeding him.
Garthus traditionally fed him.
Garthus, when was the last time you fed the chest?
You raise a great point. I don't think I assumed that was just what was happening during each of our.
You assumed we were auto
I
feeding
could
him.
have sworn
Yeah.
he actually did feed him on our last rest.
I didn't point it out, but I know last session I was consistently making sure to point out that I fed him while still in the chest. I guess.
There's still an hour of travel. He can eat on the way.
Yeah. Here you go, Mr. Benadryl. Have some rations. My bad.
All right, the chest like rocks back and forth as it like jumps, and there's like unbelievably loud sounds of chewing. And then there's a burp that's so incredibly powerful that it flaps the lid on the chest.
Benadryl, quiet. We're being stealthy.
You don't hear anything else.
Okay.
Okay, so the plan, as I understand it, is we're going to approach as we get, say, within the 10-15 minutes again. I'll disguise myself as the Goblin Scout again, return with the box of Benadryl, and then take the box probably to the south gate. I don't want to go through the front door if I can avoid it.
Yes, I think that might be wise to use the side door instead, as I don't see them opening the main door often other than for larger parties. They likely use the smaller doors in order to come in and out as they please.
Yeah, probably the south door where the staircase is, to get them to open that door for me.
Okay. All right.
And then, if in the worst case scenario, if I get found out at the doorway, I'll just have Benadryl eat him.
As in, Benadryl will eat you disguised as the goblin?
No, I'll have Benadryl eat the goblin who answers the door.
Oh, I see.
I'll just have him.
Open the chest and gobble him up.
I'll have him open the chest. He'll be eaten by the chest. Be like, nothing bad happened. And I'll just continue to walk inside with the chest. That would be the plan.
All right. So do you plan to embark? I'd say it's taking you about 30 minutes to plan this. Oops.
Yeah. I say, let's do this.
Yeah.
Alright.
So basically, reach the point to where I disguised myself before, and then I'll cast the disguise again, and then we'll have everyone set up on the ridgeline out of sight, and then tell them, be ready to throw hands.
Dumb question. The red brands all have like a signature red piece of cloth. Is it like a specific design, or
It's
has
just
it just
red.
been like
It's just red.
just red? Do any of us have some red cloth?
I still have my old bloodstained clothing that we used last time when we were under the manor. I still have those tufts of bands that we used when we did that.
Metal.
That could be perfect.
At a distance, they would look the same.
Yeah. I mean, if you want an assist, like up close, I can come with you disguised as a red brand.
That probably would be more convincing.
Actually, yes, you do bring up a good point. You
Plus,
could.
I don't think you're going to do a great job of carrying the chest all on your own.
No, it's like I make you carry the chest, and the goblin will be more convinced.
It would be
Yeah.
it would be even more convincing considering that they have a trade deal, and you could say this is just part of a package or a payment of some sort as well, instead of just I randomly found this thing in the woods.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, actually no, that's a splendid idea.
yeah. Let's do that.
All right.
Here you are, Gothus. Lars says as he hands this very red and a little stiff cloth band over to him.
Okay. Just gonna wrap that around the shoulder, I guess, and off we go.
Alright.
Good luck.
Thanks. I'm gonna key.
So it's 1 o'clock before you get to kind of the mountain peak. Start your descent.
All right, disguise self is active by this point, I believe.
I'd say it takes about 15 minutes to get within sight distance and move your minis to the map, if you wouldn't mind.
I would mind.
Well, do it anyway.
Okay.
Well, I was saying, I'm currently the goblin.
Oh,
Totally
right. And we also
Toa.
have
Goblin,
level
yes.
99 chest.
We'll just...
It is goblin, yes. Don't look too closely.
Yeah. That's you.
Oh, did you see what my d20 rolled?
What did it roll?
Just hover over it.
7.
No, just hover over it longer.
Oh, I had alt. Definitely rolled a 20. I see. If you press alt, it hides that.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
I use alt when I read those.
Alright. So, what are you rolling for?
I am rolling to carry a chest, apparently.
Yeah, you've carried a chest for long enough. This is uneven terrain, so your footing is a bit uncertain, and there are moments where it falls rather heavily.
It's
But
okay,
you still
we will
manage.
just take our time.
Benadryl seems to be getting lighter.
Oh,
You're not sure if that's just in your head or if he's actually easier to carry. It didn't used to be this heavy, even if it wasn't when it wasn't full of wizard.
that's probably fine.
Yeah.
Man, you still good in there?
Hear no response.
Okay.
He's not going to be in there when we open it, is he?
I don't know. Only one way to find out.
Okay. So, we want to advance along the south side and get up to the staircase that is, what?
If anyone asks, it's just a secret delivery. It's
About
It's unannounced.
75 feet total from
okay.
where I'm standing.
Round up.
Here, I'll move the rest of the party over to this side as well, considering that's where we are. Somewhere on the ridge.
Heck, come on up. So I point out that, turn up here. Go
Okay.
up.
Okay. So you're entering up the stairs?
Yeah, I want this door to open.
Okay, let's see here. On the south side of the old castle, an overgrown path leads to a passage that climbs up onto the wall. A large iron door stands here, sheltered from direct outside attack. Arrow slits 10 feet above the ground overlook the path. It is unguarded. You see no guards. Let me... Here we go.
We cleared step 1, friend.
Yeah, making the delivery.
We didn't immediately be shot at.
Good job.
You just saying this out loud?
No, I was just thinking to myself.
Okay. Alright, you're gonna try the door?
I don't see why not to try the door.
Alright, this is a Minecraft steel door, so you're gonna need a button or a lever in order to open this, or a pressure plate. Do you have either of those?
No, I'm looking to see if there's a...
It's okay, you can craft a button with a single,
that's right. You just need
1 meter by 1 meter.
Single stone.
Yeah.
A single...
I have a crowbar, that's about...
Block of stone.
I got a crowbar, but I don't think they'll appreciate me trying to pry open the door.
You speak Goblin, right?
I do.
You could just yell at them, hey, open up, I got payment for the boss.
Yeah, I'm looking for like a slit to talk into.
Alright, you hear the ladder of crockery from on your tiptoes. You can see in both arrow slits are currently unguarded, and goblins are cooking and arguing over dishes that need to be done. They don't appear to be paying attention.
Is the door unlocked? Like, can I...
It is locked. It is a locked door. I'm sorry I didn't mention that.
Okay.
Do you have thieves' tools?
If that's an item, I don't have it.
Are you sure?
Oh, wait, hold on. Thief tools?
Thieves' tools,
Yeah, you should have them with your background.
I think I do.
Alright. Make a dexterity check.
Okay, my dexterity bonus, I believe, is 0? Yeah, it's 0, so it'll be whatever the dice is. 12.
Okay. The picks find the lock mechanism. You get a couple of the pins to slide out of the way. Several of them appear to be unevenly pushed by the springs, so they keep just jerking out of your tools. Can't quite get it to.
Can't quite pick the lock. It's a little unfortunate.
Well, you can always just knock. And don't make it a polite knock either. Make it a goblin-y knock.
Good.
Delivery.
I'm tempted to call out to the goblins, tell him, "Hey, Red Brand with a payment is here. Can you open the door?"
I will note that you can see up into this area. It appears to be unoccupied.
Actually, well, since they're not going to open the door for us, do we want to just go through the open hole?
Have you tried knocking yet?
I don't necessarily want to knock if this area is unoccupied.
It is.
Because that would still get us entry either way, and that way I don't necessarily alert them to our presence.
So, the floor here is 5 foot up from here on the ground. It's a little bit of a slope that you have to climb up.
Say, well, I kind of whisper to Garthus, I can either knock on the door, or we can try our luck with the already open hole.
Are you motioning for the rest of the party to join you, or are you trying to go in solo?
I want to hear what Garthus wants for the plan of entry before I signal them.
Okay.
We can take a peek at the hole in the wall real quick. It can't hurt.
All right.
Yeah, let me peek into the slit so I can see inside here.
Yeah, just
You
goblins
need-
like doing cooking and eating and arguing about dishes. They don't appear to.
Hmm. Oh, I just thought of something dumb.
Whatever it is, I support it.
The thing is that he won't have the context to know if I give him this command. If I command him to unlock, he may just unlock something randomly.
Yeah.
I would want him to unlock
Also,
the door, but I
As
can't.
far as I know, command is like you essentially shouting at them to do a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
could.
not verbal.
I could shout at him to unlock, and then he might. It's like I would count on him logically knowing what I want him to do, and
You're counting on a lot of things to go right.
And that's of
Yeah,
course assuming that he fails the check.
Yeah.
he has to fail the
All
check
right.
first. Which
I'm
that's why I
gonna
said
talk
it's dumb. Which I don't think I'm gonna do it.
I'm gonna talk a bit out of character here. I'm just gonna say my opinion on this. The whole point of this is to not arouse suspicion, and that we want to keep their guard low while we're able to sneak up into the castle, right? I'm not going to specifically state which course of action is going to do which, but I'm going to just let you know that the closer our main party can get to the castle before they realize we're here, the better chance we have of this going well.
Yeah.
So basically, I see three options. I can either try to pick the door again, we can try to get the attention of these two cooks, or we can just go into the hole we already see. If we're gonna pick the third option, we're bringing the whole party down before we make entry.
Yeah.
It's going to be between you two as we're out of range and can't hear your conversation.
Right.
See
So
what's going
that's why
on.
I'm talking to Garthus about it. You know, like a quieted tone to make sure that they don't hear us. But it's like, what say you?
Let me quickly take a peek at the hole in the wall. You stand right here with the chest. I thought I heard something over there.
What was that?
Must have been the wind.
generic NPC noises.
Practicing your
Yeah.
generic NPC impersonation. So the southwest tower of the castle is little more than a heap of rubble. Several ragged bedrolls are scattered across the remaining floor space, and a small, twisting passage leads east through the ruins.
Okay, I don't think we're doing that.
That's this way.
I'm assuming small that we would have to like crawl through.
No, it's just kind of like cut through piles of rubble. You could probably get through there, but not quick.
It's almost
Okay.
like just a narrow passage
Yeah.
that's just cramped with rubble.
It's not like a
basically.
hole, yeah, but you can see where the rubble kind of spreads out onto the floor.
Okay. I will report to Toa. There's a narrow hole that we could try taking if we're going to bring everyone, but...
There's also a door here.
Oh,
A door, you say?
Correct.
Oh yeah, there is. You can see a little bit of a texture of something just kind of sitting there.
well,
Oh.
regardless, what we could do is call people down. Just have them hang out, what is it? Like, in the, in there for now.
Yeah, I
And
don't see why not.
Yeah.
We were able to
And-
get up here, and no one saw us. So, if
Yep.
worst comes to worst, we can try to rush the. We could try to rush up and get into cover from the arrow slits. That's about all we really need.
Yep.
Right. So I guess we're signaling the party to come on down.
Yeah. Gonna kind of signal to come down and point in the general direction of the hole in the wall.
All right, Sildar
Do we have to roll anything for
Albertine.
sneaking by, or are they just not watching?
I'm not paying attention. You guys scoped it out, so.
Wait. Toa's the goblin.
Yeah.
I'm going to put his thing back to the side there, so when we switch.
Everybody approaches. Sildar kind of sneak crawls over to Garthus and the one disguised as a goblin. He looks close at you, Toa. And it's just like, well done, that's very convincing.
Yeah.
Right, the rest of you, do we have a plan of entry and of attack? These arrow slits, I'm assuming they're unmanned.
They're currently unmanned, yes.
Excellent, all right.
There's a narrow passageway down by that crumbled tower.
To the rubble, and he crawls around, examines it. This will make sneaking up rather difficult. Albertine, I believe you should stand watch outside in case things get airy. We'll try and take out the guards up at the top. So long as we can do that.
There are guards up there?
Assuming.
There weren't any when we looked earlier.
Well, we didn't look there specifically. They could be in like the arrow slits, and I'm assuming those would be like higher up in this tower.
No, those just look outdoors. Those are just crenellations.
Oh, okay.
To look outside from that room to shoot outward. There's a door here and a wall here. This is the only open part of the room. Everything else we saw in here already. There's not anything there.
How deep is this room behind this door, by the way?
Approximately, because you've got a little like vision slit.
How deep is it? Let's see. Wall ends here.
Okay.
So in theory, we would end up inside that room just based on our knowledge of the building.
Yeah.
We would assume we would end up in that room.
Well,
What we could do is knock on the door as you sneak in through the hole, if that's the case.
Yeah, I would say they wouldn't have a reason to suspect us being there, and then you kick in from the other side.
Could ambush them.
Lars kind of whispers over. We want to keep them as low a guard state as possible while we sneak up, right? The longer, the better.
I like it. Got quite the head for strategy.
Right.
Master Lars.
Let's go.
Well, I do play a lot of strategy games.
I beg your pardon?
Just, checkers, chess, stuff like that.
Ah, yes,
Mind
of course.
games.
Right. Let's begin.
Mind games, but you're talking right now.
Mind games require speaking, Garthus.
Oh, I thought you said mime games.
No. That was my cousin Ricky.
So
They did that.
Sildar's cheeks like swell up, and he tries to suppress a laugh.
Right.
Fun,
So probably give you guys 2 or 3
manages
minutes to climb up, and then we'll knock on the door to get the goblins to face the door so that you have a clean entry.
Sildar very carefully climbs on his hands and knees on the rubble, and then once he's up, motions for the rest of you to follow.
Okay. I'll go next, Albertine. Watch. Alright, Lars is gonna look for the most sure-footed way to get up there with making as little noise as possible. Do I have to roll anything for that, or just...
No.
Okay.
Just go very carefully.
Yeah. Goes nice and slow, and then he tucks in behind this part of the rubble and kind of ducks down halfway behind it.
All right, Albertine, as discussed, since he's wearing heavy plate, he just stands and motions.
Albertine. Lars kind of pokes up and over, points down to this side. Kind of take cover a bit here, so that way you're not standing out in the open.
He crouches down, then kind of marches over as quietly as he can and hunches down.
It's not full cover, but it'll conceal you mostly. If they're just looking at a glance, they probably won't notice.
He nods his agreement.
All right. So I guess it's time to knock on the door then, right? That was the plan?
I'll give Lars a little pointing signal, like we're going.
Lars nods silently in response.
All right.
You're not going to be able to drag that chest up without making a lot of noise.
Oh, that's fine. I'm going with door knocking party.
All right, so you knock on the door.
Yeah, we're gonna knock on the door.
All right. So the chatter abruptly stops, and then a goblin appears right here, opens the door, maybe 3 inches, peers through, squints at you, and it's just like, "Oh, it's you. What do you want? Loot?" His eyes get wide when he sees the chest. What have you got there?
Red Brand has brought tribute.
Tribute, eh? I like tribute. Boys! He calls to everybody else. We got treasure, help me bring it in.
I mean, I'll just pick it up and carry it in. For them. Why not?
No. You stay at the bottom of the stairs.
Okay.
Why didn't you tell this Red Brand what his place was? Why didn't you keep him in his place? Who does he think he is? This is Cragmaw Castle.
That's why they only sent one guy to bring the tribute to the castle. You know, I never said he was coming inside.
He smiles a wicked smile. And then he's like, perhaps he could make an appearance. Yes. I'm feeling a bit hungry. How about you boys? Ha ha ha.
Toa cracks like a little smile, but it may not. In thinking, it may not be who he thinks getting eaten though.
Oh, are we having food? I'm starving.
Yes. Maybe having dinner later. And you, Red Brand, you might be invited.
Oh, that
See
is
if we can get
fantastic news. Thank you.
How open is this door? I want this door as open as I can make it.
He opens it all the way.
Excellent.
And then he's just
Is
like,
it just
all right,
this
bring it
goblin?
in. Just this one.
This?
The rest appear to still be cooking in this area.
Okay.
I said back! And he tries to push you down the stairs.
Where's he pushing from? Like kneecap height?
Yeah. Yeah.
Fine. Here's your delivery. Jeez.
He licks his lips and looks at the spot where you believe your liver is.
I mean, yeah, I work out. But I'm wearing armor. You're not going to see the abs. Like.
White meat. Well, he opens the chest.
Well, he's about to be eaten.
Yeah, there's an go gadget extendo arms, and then a goblin shriek, and then like the sounds of like really like messy mastication. Like a few bones fly
Delicious.
out, and the lid is like stained with blood.
I told you that we would be having dinner.
All right, and that's where we're gonna call it. It's 5. Next time we take on the castle.
I just imagine like a little text readout. It just says the goblin fed the hungry chest.
I love how this chest, we just brought it along because it's a great thing to store items in it. Now it's really just become a pet mimic.
I know, it's like mimics are awesome. I love using mimics as weapons.
Oh yes.
It's just like playing like an older stealth game and having an enemy hit like a claymore or something. It just